Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Green White Checker TV for tonight's broadcast of the Area 51 Thursday Gen 4 Series here on the ovals with, again, the Gen 4 stock car. Going to be a lot of fun tonight as we hit up Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. It'll be 60 laps at this 2.5-mile track for the evening. Going to be a blast to see how these drivers can handle the tricky triangle and see who comes out on top. We've got a new voice with us this week. We've got Daniel Paulus Jr. joining us for the first time. So why don't you say hey and give yourself a little intro there, Daniel.
Thank you, and hello everybody. My name is Daniel Paulus Jr. I am a co-commentator here on Green White Checker TV. This is going to be my first broadcast with this network, and I can't wait to get ready to roll here. And I am a former iRacer. I was a runner-up in the Verizon Xfinity Series, runner-up in the Championship 4. And now that I'm coming into retirement now and joining the broadcast team, I am currently very excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, definitely appreciate throwing you on the spot there and giving us some background. Looking forward to calling the action with you tonight. Should be a pretty solid race. We got pretty much default weather here tonight. Currently about 2 minutes into the qualifying session, so we're going to see what happens there and who's going to... I know some people elect to not take a qualifying time to start and make their way up through the pack, so we'll see what that strategy is. Looks like Joshua Hanner right now on the provisional pole with a 53.76, so we'll see if anybody bests that time so far. Definitely been a... We've had a mix of races. Obviously, we had a lot of fun 2 weeks ago in our season opener at Michigan. There's a lot of action. Green, white, checkers, couple yellows, and lots of different strategies to play out. Saw the 05 of Brian Wang throw an absolute beautiful move on the second-to-last restart to gain the lead and never look back. And last week we saw a long green flag run, and the 13 machine of Ryan Kelly took home the checkered flag, so a bit of a mixed bag as far as what's happened so far this season. But we'll see how they again handle this tricky triangle. And I'm hearing that it's about 28, 29 laps or so on fuel tonight, with about 60 laps on the schedule. Daniel, how do you think drivers are going to try and play out that fuel strategy tonight?
Well, it's all going to vary out here at Pocono Raceway because you never know. If we keep getting cautions over and over again, that is going to affect the pit strategy. So you never know. Pit strategy is up in the air right now. But like you said, I think these drivers can go around 27 to 28 laps, maybe stretch it out in 30 laps. But if we have a green flag run, I think they'll be paying around 30 laps.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that falls, and obviously cautions can completely shake that up, so it'll be fun to see and go through and update that throughout the race and see where we're at. But yeah, right now we've got about 11 cars who have taken a lap on track. No one so far beating the 2 machine of Joshua Hanner, but we've got a couple of our faster drivers out on track right now trying to put a lap down, see what they can do to knock him off of the pole. And yeah, we're about a minute or so away from the end of the qualifying session. We'll get you caught up to speed on what that final grid looks like and get to the action tonight. So, have you ever raced here, Daniel, at Pocono? Are you excited about this track? Is this something, do you look forward to coming here if you have raced here before?
I have raced here before, and I enjoy coming here. But the one problem I have with this track every time I'm racing here is literally turns 1 and 2 I'm fine with, but once you get into turn 3, it's so hard for me to know when to start getting on acceleration, because if I get on it too early, I will slap the outside wall coming off the turn. So that, I think, is going to be the tricky part here in turn 3. And also in turn 3, your car gets very loose. So I won't be surprised if we see some drivers back of their cars start coming around on them, or maybe they have the right setup to maybe not coming around on them, but it depends on what setup they have.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. Definitely a long straightaway for the front stretch, and then long straightaway between turns 1 and 2 that if you miss, you'll lose a lot of momentum throughout the lap. And it definitely makes a big difference if you get off turns 1 and 3 well. And turn 3, definitely a corner where it's a very long sweeping corner that you can pick up that throttle too early and really hurt your straightaway speed. So we'll have to take a look here, though, as I think we're just finished up with qualifying. We're taken to the grid. You might see some of those cars down there on the track. We'll run you through that lineup here as we get ready to get going. So it looks like we've got on the pole is going to be Kevin Freese for Team Bootnaka. He grabs that pole with a 53.72 ahead of Joshua Hanner, who had the pole until the last closing minutes or seconds there of the qualifying session, but he still takes that second spot in that number 2 car for closed circuit racing. And his teammate Chris Passini in the 1 machine, he is going to be inside of row number 2, starting 3rd place. So 2 teammates starting 2nd and 3rd on the grid tonight. We've got Andrew Palesci in the number 82 machine on the outside of row number 2. A solid starting position for him tonight, and Austin Call will round out that top 5 for you tonight in that number 64 machine for Ambush Racing. We got another closed circuit racing driver, Carl Henderson, friend of the broadcaster for Sunday nights. He's in the field tonight, and he's up there with his teammates. He's starting on the outside of row number 3 in that number 28 machine. Back behind them in the 4th row, we've got Todd Merkel in that number 23 car with Brandon Bernhardt of Endeavor Racing to his outside. And running out the top 10 for tonight is Vernon Margheim and James Ledford in the 906 and 48 machines, respectively. We'll pull up. Actually, we'll go through. We've got also on 6th row, we've got Gabe Butler, also for Team Bootnaka Esports. He's racing tonight in that number 88 machine, and Chris Oliver in the number 14, as well as cars are starting to make their way onto the racetrack. We'll finish up this lineup for you in just a second here, getting to that second page of the grid. We've got Nate Warren in that number 99 machine inside of the row number 7. Last week's winner, Ryan Kelly, the 13 car, starting in the 14th position for tonight. Ryan Decker in the 17 machine, he is going to be on the inside of row number 8 with another friend of the broadcast, Gael Brooks, in that number 71 machine. William Gunn, regular on our Tuesday night redacted open wheel car series that we can no longer broadcast, so good to see William Gunn here on Thursday night and getting some airtime as well. And Eric Laurie, another Team Bootnaka Esports driver, he is in the 071 machine tonight, starting on the outside of row number 9. Most of the rest of these drivers lucky not to take a time, but we got Jim Brooks and Brian Wang there rounding out the top 20 for the evening. Charles Johnson and Taylor Reeves in the 21st, 22nd positions. And in 23rd and 24th, we've got Brandon Paul and Joseph DeCiro. Joseph DeCiro, another regular on Tuesday night, so glad to see him here on Thursday so we can get him some chance to shine in the spotlight. But we're about ready to go green here, Daniel, for 60 laps. What are your final thoughts before we get going?
Final thoughts are, can't wait to see exciting racing. Don't push it too hard. It's just the start of this thing. We'll see how this thing plays out.
Absolutely here, and we are going to see those leaders head down the front stretch, pick up the throttle, grind up through those gears on the way into that daunting turn number 1, but we are underway here at Area 51.
As you see the 25 of Freeze taking that lead early here, going into turn 1. As you see in second place, it looks like Jonathan Hamner in the 2 car is going to file in, take second position. Right behind him is the 1 of Passini, something.
Passini, yeah, Chris Passini in the 1 machine, yep. So far, stringing out single file for the most part. Clean lead for Kevin Freese as he jumped up and grabbed that spot off of turn number 2 from Joshua Hanner in the 2 machine. And definitely a lot of beautiful paint schemes that we have here. Obviously, we've seen them throughout the season, but lots of nostalgia and beautiful cars to take a look at here tonight.
For sure, and I like that Tide paint scheme right there. That is an awesome paint scheme to see running here at Pocono. It brings me back memories to that Darlington race win of Ricky Craven. But still your leaders, the 25 of Freeze. Now, do you expect the second position car to gain on, or do you think they're going to stay single file here for a while?
We'll see. It's definitely, I think obviously green flag conditions are going to probably bode well for Kevin Freese. I mean, Kevin's no stranger to running up front. No Sebastian Marin here this week. I believe it sounded like he had another event to have to go to not be able to race. But his teammate there, Kevin Freese, is out front and looking strong. I'm definitely going to expect a lot of drivers, or at least a few drivers, to start, cream rising to the top, if you will. We already got Brian weighing up 11 spots from that ninth position, or in the ninth position, I should say, from the starting position of 20th. So definitely look to see those guys start to creep up towards the field. But Kevin's definitely going to have the advantage, I think, earlier in this run. We'll see if Joshua Hanner and Chris Passini can keep him honest, though, as for the most part, the top five here, other than our leader, is pretty much staying put with Joshua, Chris, Andrew, and Austin here settling in the top five.
Don't forget, once these drivers start using their tires up, that is going to lay more grip down, which means they will be getting closer to each other. But as tire wear is falling off, that means these drivers are going to get bunched up again. But so far, they are keeping it clean and they are stretching it out.
Yeah, definitely almost the entire field pretty much now single file. A couple guys trying that outside lane off of turn number 3, but for the most part, everyone's just kind of settling in here nice and easy as we click off 3 laps done on lap number 4 here as Kevin Freese continues to lead every single lap through the early stages of this one.
I don't see anything changing at all. As you see, all the drivers are now single file here. We are on lap 4 out of 60. These laps are going to be winding down pretty fast here. And I think the aggression is going to start picking up within maybe halfway point. So I can see the drivers staying cool, calm, and collective right now. But I don't see that during the second half. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. We saw pit strategy and fuel strategy really played a big difference towards the end of last race. Last week at, I believe it's Chicagoland. It was 1.5 mile. I can't remember right now, but definitely that momentum kind of picked up, and everyone had a chance to kind of feel out what the car was going to do on that first run and see where the tires and the fuel were going to end up. But yeah, it definitely. I mean, obviously, just about any race, that momentum's going to pick up throughout the race. I think right now everyone's just kind of trying to feel everybody else out and take it easy and not try to overdrive the car too much, and just getting a feel for how it's going to be tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I don't know. Do you think anybody else possibly has a chance at winning this race besides the 25 at Freeze, who is proving right now that he is the king here at Pocono? I mean, I have no idea, but there is a second place change here as you see the number 1 car taking second place, and Jonathan Hanner now falling back to third place. Now, do you think the 2 was using up his stuff already a little too much, or do you think the 1's just really the strong early on in this run, Logan?
We've definitely seen these guys. The 1 car gets really loose off of 2 or off of 3 there and hits the wall. But Chris and Josh definitely have run side by side for, almost every single race we've had so far this season. So teammates that are pretty fairly evenly matched. Who knows? Maybe Josh realized he was burning up what he thought was a little bit more of his stuff and lets his teammate on by. Not sure, but definitely a pretty easy move as the machine is going to move up 1 spot on the evening, and Joshua Hanner is going to move back from that second starting spot. But for the most part, those are pretty much, there really aren't a lot of movers in the field other than Brian Wang. We've already mentioned he was up 11 spots earlier. He's now picked up, now as he passes Carl Henderson in that number 28 machine, he's going to pick up that 7th spot. And the driver ahead of him, Brandon Bernhardt, he's only up 2 spots. One of our other biggest movers, actually looking at it now, Ryan Kelly's actually side by side for another battle. Ryan Kelly's up 5 spots. If he gets ahead of Carl Henderson there as he's to the inside there, that's going to promote him up to 8th, and he'll be up 6 spots actually now. So other than those guys, for the most part, this field's kind of been stringing out, or for the most part single file. But is that kind of your mindset early in a race like this, Daniel? Are you looking to just kind of settle in and see where your tire wear falls off and attack later, or are you trying to attack early and get to the front as fast as you can?
What I would do, Logan, is first off, during the first half of the race, see how your car is handling. Second off, see how your tires are going to handle. And third off, just stay cool, calm, and collective. And you're going to want to try to figure out if something's wrong with your car. And if your setup is not right and you don't like it that way, well, then that's fine. You can fix it during the first half and then maybe get it to the point where it's handling really good in the second half. And then you would start moving up to the front and try to see if you can take that lead away and possibly get that win.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, because Definitely going to see some changes, I'm sure, after the pit cycle, which will be interesting to see here. I mean, we're obviously quite a ways away from the first pit stop, but I'd be interesting to see because the fuel is probably going to be so close to being able to stretch it on one stop. I'm curious if anybody's going to try and come down like lap 20 and lap 40 and make this thing a two-stop or three-stint race. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen just yet, but definitely hearing from the drivers that it's going to be really close on fuel. And I guess from your perspective, Daniel, would you think it'd be more advantageous to have those three stints that are a little bit shorter, 20 laps each, or would you be trying to save that fuel early on?
It was for me, I would just try to do the stints. I don't see why you want to try to save fuel early on. Now, if you would want to save fuel during the end of the race, if we get these cautions over and over again, but early on, I think you should just go with the stints.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if they're going to break it up into three or break it up into two with a one stop. But I'm curious if anybody towards the back of the pack is thinking about that or not. We don't really have anybody that's really fallen off too much, but for the most part, like I said, mentioned, a couple guys other than Brian Wang and Ryan Kelly, not a lot of movers up at the front of the pack. Everyone's just kind of settling in, maybe two or three spots up or two or three spots down for now. But Kevin Freese continues to lead this one, as we see on the back of that 25. Throwback to Mr. Seven Time himself, Jimmy Johnson there. Beautiful looking paint scheme.
And I like these paint schemes out on the track. It reminds me of the old drivers that used to race in NASCAR. But I always liked when they did the throwback schemes. I thought it was really cool. But, I mean, let's give credit to 25 of Freeze right now. I mean, look at it. He's got a second and a half almost gap over second place. I mean, I was not expecting this. And look at some of these drivers, how they're coming around the turn. You can see their rear just like swinging out towards the outside wall. And that's what's concerning me, because if they press too hard, like I said, their car could go around.
Yeah, definitely there. It's such a finesse in turn three. You can send it in pretty deep, but you really can't get on the gas super early. It's definitely gonna throw your car out of whack. And we see some of the drivers here pulling up their fastest times of the race. Currently, right now, it looks like Kevin Freese with a 54.73 at the top of the leaderboard, but Austin Call's got a pretty good lap of a 54.76 himself, and Ryan Kelly's got the fastest lap there with a 54.57, so probably ran that early on, but falling off a little bit here. We're about a second off of the fastest laps here. That last time by Kevin Freese running a 54.84. Again, 54.84 that last lap, and his best was a 53.75. So a little bit of fall off here, even 10 laps into the run so far. So interesting to see if it's going to fall off any further. Do you think that might happen, Daniel?
I think it will, and as these laps keep going on, if like I said, during these green flag runs, if we keep going like this, you're going to see the tire wear fall off tremendously, and that's just how Pocono is. And it also depends on the track type. And when it's sunny out like this, that means the track is very slick, and it makes it harder for your car to handle. As you see, second place is now under fire from the two car of Hanner, now on the inside of the one.
Yeah, Joshua Hanner, he is going to step back in there, and I think his teammate said, yeah, go ahead, man, you can have the spot. Gives him some breathing room and lets his teammate back into that second starting position, and Chris Bassini's going to be relegated back to third, but Austin Call still up one spot on the night in fourth position, and Andrew Pileshi down one in the fifth position, but knocking on the door right there behind that number 82 machine now is the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. faced nose of that '05 machine. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s face is getting a little bit bigger in the mirror of that 82 as he gets closer there.
Yeah, I didn't know whose face that was at first, but now, yeah, oh yeah, there you go. Ricky Stenhouse.
Yeah.
I don't know where his mouth is, but I think the mouth right there is the air going in. But it's a nice looking car right now. I like that car. I don't know what's going on with Ricky's face there, but hopefully he doesn't get damaged by the end of tonight.
Yeah, we asked him because he won 2 weeks ago at Michigan. Asked him if he was going to adjust it so that the mouth of Ricky was going to be at the grill, but no adjustments there. But he's still running that same paint scheme for that '05 machine. But I mean, it's definitely really cool to see all of these throwback paint schemes. So we got a Jimmy Johnson, we've got a Rusty Wallace, we've got a Steve Park. Throwback to the old Tide Ride with Ricky Craven, and there's Ryan Kelly's running a Hot Hughes DuPont scheme, so a lot of fun. Obviously, you see Carl Henderson back there in the old Texaco scheme. So this Gen 4 car has definitely led to a lot of fun here in iRacing in general. It's we've mentioned before, it's based off of one of the Nationwide Series cars from Junior Motorsports back from the early 2000 teens, but it's supposed to mimic the Gen 4 car that we used to have in the 04, 05, 06 era of NASCAR. So I know we've mentioned in the past on the broadcast that definitely brings back a lot of nostalgia. But I'm not sure for you, Daniel. I know you said you enjoyed seeing like the Tide Ride for Ricky Craven and everything, but definitely a lot of fun in these throwbacks.
For sure, for sure. And as you see, these drivers are getting a little more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but they're getting a little more racier right now. But the 25 now extends his lead to a 2 second gap here over the rest of the package. You see the 64 and the 05 look like they're going to have a little bit of a battle going on between 64 of Call and the 05 of Wang.
Yeah, they're getting right there. That 05 machine is definitely moving towards the front of the pack. See how far he can get up to catch Kevin Freese, who's done a little bit of checking out. I mean, these guys are checking out just a little bit themselves. Is behind Andrew Palesci, you have to go 3.5 seconds back to Vernon Markheim in the 906 machine. So there's definitely a pretty comfortable gap between first and second, and from 7th to 8th. So after that, it seems like most of the field's pretty strung out. We'll take a chance to go back there. We see I mentioned Vernon in that 906 machine doing pretty well, up one position on the night so far. He's got Brandon Bernhardt just behind him in that 81 machine, and we got a pretty decent gaggle of cars all the way back to about 14th place of Todd Merkel. As you see him getting way loose in the back there for Todd. Brandon Bernhardt in the 81 machine in 9th. Carl Henderson there in that 28 machine. He's running in last spot in the top 10, but being challenged right now. Oh, we got a wreck here as looks like Austin Call might have went off track, but it looks like we got some damage there for Ryan Kelly. So we're going to take a second here and see if we can pull up that replay, because you saw there that 13 machine slow on the inside. Let's see. That is the wrong replay. Let's see if we can grab this here and see if we can grab... I don't know if that's... Oh, you said a 64 already...
64.
Yeah, he's already spinning at this point. Let's see if we can get a better shot of that real quick. A ton of damage from 64 here. See if we can go back to the moment of caution here. And looks like the 64 just getting loose. 13's there, unfortunately. Not sure what else... Not sure what else they could do, but I think that's going to definitely call the 64 to take his first... his only fast repair here tonight.
Yeah. And that's the spot, Logan, I was talking about earlier during qualifying practice and early on in this race, is that turn 3 is always tricky for these drivers, like what we just saw. Like I said, these cars get loose off of turn 3 as these green flag runs happen, and that looks like what happened here. And as we go on board here,
yeah, see if we can...
Might have been the driver behind him that got loose and just hooked him.
Yeah, we'll see if we can maybe go from the vantage point of... Actually, we'll do the rough cam here, and yeah, it looks like a little bit of the 64 coming down and the 13 kind of coming up, and unfortunately going to cause some contact there for the 64, and big hit. Thankfully, there's no he won't feel that in the sim seat. You would have definitely felt that in a real race car, though, Daniel.
Oh yeah. For sure you would have felt that. Right. And now that we have our cautions out, do we expect these drivers to come down? I think we're going to see these drivers come down, Logan. I don't know about you. I think they're going to get some fuel and possibly get good tires on, good years now. And that's just going to give them better grip and better track position on this restart.
Yeah, I really don't see why you would do anything else. I mean, there's not really a super strict tire set limit for for the field here, and I actually wouldn't even be surprised. I think there's actually no tire limit. Maybe I'll have to follow back up and check on that, but there's probably no benefit here to staying out whatsoever, and I think we're going to see, as it looks like, just about the entire field here is coming in. See if we can pull up the pit lane camera, and yeah, lone pace car out on the track, not a single soul on the track other than him. So there's pretty much your answer, as all 20 drivers still in the field are coming down pit road this time by. So
And now, what are we expecting on this restart? Do you think they're going to be a little more aggressive?
we'll see. I mean, I think 17 laps is, or probably about, but 16 laps once the caution came out. That's probably a good opportunity to understand. I mean, that's half of a fuel run, so you've got a pretty good idea of where your tires are going to be and how much your wear is going to be throughout the season, or throughout the night. But yeah, I was going to ask there if you thought two tires was an option at this point, but maybe that's not the call because it looks like everybody took four. But would you ever try a gamble like that, Daniel, or is it too early to do something like that?
I would take four. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to take two, but I'm afraid if I take two, it's my car is just not going to handle the same as the other drivers around me, and I'm just not going to get a good launch. But you never know. The track is always different depending on the weather here. Right now it's sunny out. We have clear skies, and that means a slick track. So we got to see how these drivers handle on this restart.
Yeah, definitely will be interesting to see what happens here, but we're going to catch up to the pace car here, and 25 machine, who has led every lap tonight, is going to continue at least for the restart here. He's got a little bit more competition up at the front of the pack, as Brian Wang and Ryan Kelly have made their way there now. Definitely probably the biggest benefactors of that caution after the 05 machine and the 13 machine started so far back in the pack. So it'll be interesting to see if the 25 continue to pull away, or if he's going to have a mirror full of that 05 or the 13 machine, because they've definitely come up all the way through the pack, as neither of them elected to take a qualifying time. And actually, I take it back. Ryan Kelly did run a few laps, but was not able to maximize his opportunity in qualifying. So Brian Wang did not qualify at all. So we'll have to wait and see what they end up doing, and see if that 25 has the opportunity to check out, or if these guys are going to keep them in check a little bit more, Daniel.
And we're already at 40 to go, and we just started this race maybe, 10 to 15 minutes ago? So if you think about it, every 15 minutes, if we keep having these green flag runs, this race is going to go by so fast. So I think you're going to have to start putting your mind to the pedal and start moving forward if you want to try to compete for a win here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see what's going to happen. I think for the most part, it seems like Kevin Freese, obviously the strongest car out front so far, leading every lap, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Joshua Hanner's definitely held in there. He was only about 2 seconds back, having a really solid run, and Chris Passini still in the top 5 as well in that beautiful Steve Park throwback scheme. So let's take a look. I mean, there's definitely some guys up here that'll keep it honest and try to challenge for this lead. And we saw Andrew Pileshi still having a good night. He's still up there in the third row, outside of the third row. So just about anything can happen, especially if we get a couple late cautions. It'll be interesting to see how the field stacks up. And do you think? Well, I guess one thing to ask: do you think is it going to be maybe a cautions breed caution situation, or do you think we're going to have another at least 20 lap green flag run here, Daniel?
I think we're going to have another green flag 20 lap run here. But another driver I want to talk about, quick, Logan, is the 13 of Kelly. We saw how good his car was in practice and how it was handling, but he just couldn't get to the front now. But now he's cracking the top 5. So do you think Kelly could be a threat to the 25?
Oh, definitely. I mean, he was, race winner last week. He held off Sebastian Marin on the long run for the with the fuel strategy, and he's definitely going to be challenging for the lead, as the 25 is going to get back up through the gears on the inside lane. He's going to get clear of that number 2 machine. We're back underway, sailing it off into turn number 1 here at Pocono. Let's take a minute here and crank it up. absolutely have to love the sound of those over 800 horsepower motors as they send it off into turn number 1 here. Kevin Freese breaks away again to the lead. He's got the number 2 machine still of Joshua Hanner. A couple car lengths back now, about 0.4 of a second back, but he's got a mirror full of Brian Wang and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. As you see him jump out there, he's going to try and make a move to the inside. Brian Wang's trying to promote himself to the 2nd position, and looks like he's going to do it fairly easily as Joshua Hanner gives him the spot early on. No reason to challenge it, and looks like the 13 is going to try and make his move here as well. So definitely a good start here on the restart here for Brian Wang and Ryan Kelly, and we'll see if they can run down Kevin Freese on this long run here, hopefully. A little bit of a wiggle there for, look at the 05 there off of the corner, but still pretty much strung out single file for the most part. I don't think we're going to see a lot of side-by-side action as the 25 is actually high off into turn number 1 there. We saw these guys kind of getting into that 2nd or 3rd lane in turn number 3, but definitely maybe missed the bottom a little bit there from Kevin Freese in that number 25 machine. But we'll have to wait and see how the track changes for these guys and see if they start moving around. I think for the most part the tunnel turn is probably going to be the only turn that's going to be the most consistent, but there's definitely a lot of options there off of turn 3, as you mentioned there, Daniel, to try and make a little bit of a move. You know, we see the 25 there setting off in just about the 2nd there, almost the 3rd lane. He's way high there on that. Gets a little loose off the corner too.
Looks like that was the 05 of Wang. But look who's cracking the top 3 is the 13 of Kelly. We've seen him be really strong here in practice and qualifying, and now he is trying to get around the 05 of Wang here. As you see, Ricky Stenhouse's face is still intact. No problems there. The 05 has a little edge there, but they are getting a little loose there coming out of the turns.
Yeah, definitely might need to, I don't know if it's just trying to get back to the gas too soon off a 3. Maybe need to, maybe not back up the corner, but, you know, maybe push a little bit harder in the corner and roll out of the throttle a little bit longer. But definitely these guys are running really hard as Brian Wang's now up 18 spots on the night and Ryan Kelly is up 11 there. As you see how wide Brian is, he's pretty much running that 3rd lane there, and you've got a lot of opportunities there. Hopefully that's a little bit smoother there off the corners. You see almost Chris Piscini in the 1 machine almost tagging the right rear there, but definitely have to keep an eye on that as you come off of turn 3, what turn 4 here at Pocono.
And that's the thing, you don't want to tag the wall, because if you tag the wall, you're going to get that damage on the arrow. And if you get damage on the arrow there, that's going to throw off your car tremendously here at Pocono. So you want to try to avoid that. But everybody else looks like we are going back to single file, and the 25 is pulling away once again with almost a 2nd lead. Yeah,
so as we settle into this 2nd run here, let's maybe take a second and go through the field here. We'll bring up driver names and show their teams, and if they've got a profile photo that can show up there too. But we've got Kevin Freese here, started P1, still P1, led all 23 laps completed so far as we're working on lap 24 right now. We've already talked about Brian Wang in the 05 machine. He is up 18 spots on the night after not qualifying at all, but doing pretty well and able to reset a little bit there with that last caution, as well as Ryan Kelly, who's been moving up the field himself. He's up 11 spots on the evening in the last spot of the podium at the moment. Mentioned Joshua Hanner having a really good night so far. He is sitting in the 4th position in that number 2 Miller Light Dodge. And just behind him is Andrew Pileshi there in that number 82. Looks like filter time machine there. So we've got Chris Piscini there in the 1 machine, the Pennzoil car. He is sitting in the number 6 position after moving back 3 spots on the night, starting in 3rd. Still having a very solid top 10 run so far. Vernon Markheim in the 906 machine. He is up 2 spots from 9th and the 7th spot. And starting 8th and currently 8th is Brandon Bernhardt in the number 81 machine. We've got Gabe Butler just behind him in the 88 Guinness machine, as he is up 2 spots. Now in the 9th position, excuse me, there is Gael Brooks is going to jump to the inside there in that number 71 DeWalt scheme. He's going to take 9th away from Gabe Butler, relegate Gabe to the last spot in the top 10 right now. Down 5 positions is Carl Henderson in the number 28 Texaco machine. Beautiful looking paint scheme he's got there on that car, but he's still running pretty strong. Definitely appreciate Carl, his efforts on Sunday nights to run the broadcast for our Xfinity Super Speedway Series, so have to give him a quick plug, and make sure you check him out here on Green White Checkered TV on Sunday nights, and he's going to call that action for you. But he's filling the role of driver tonight and doing pretty well, and sitting just outside of the top 10, trying to move forward. But just behind him, though, in the 12th position is Todd Merkel in that number 23 machine, down 5 spots on the night as he's being challenged by Austin Call in that 64, who took a spin early on, but he's working his way back up to the front in that number 64 Tide Pontiac. He'll make just about make the pass there, still side by side. He's going to try, and actually Todd Merkel's holding on pretty solid there on the outside lane, but we'll see who gets it into turn number 2. Moving further back, we've got Ryan Decker here in the number 17 machine, currently in the 14th position, up 1 on the evening. Behind him, running the Area 51 colors, is Jim Brooks in the 51 machine. That Ford Fusion really loose off of turn 2 there as he slings it a little wide, and that's going to let that's going to let William Gunn by, actually. He's, haven't mentioned him too much, but in that 014 machine, he's got a beautiful mellow yellow scheme, little Kyle Petty throwback. Love to see that one out there tonight as well. So William Gunn having a pretty solid night inside the top 15 now, up 2 spots on the evening, and trying to get as much as he can here. And we'll keep moving back, though. We got James Ledford now in the 17th position. He's in that Gray Ghost Nationwide Series, kind of I guess a throwback to a throwback. Definitely an old school paint scheme that Dale Jr. ran a couple times in different throwback races here and there, but beautiful paint scheme as well. Back in the 18th position, we've got the 071 of Eric Laurie here tonight. Started 18th, currently running 18th, and last 2 in the field, we got a Ryan Newman throwback, the Altel machine for Nate Warren here tonight, currently running in the 19th position. And we got a Terry Labonte throwback as well for Chris Oliver in that. Shows the number 14, but he's actually the number 5 car on the car, but beautiful red wheels and everything on that Terry Labonte throwback. So definitely really cool to see all of these paint schemes here, and that's pretty much the rest of the field. So we'll head back up to Kevin Freese and check in on our leaders. Looks like, for the most part, Brian Wang's holding pretty steady there, only about 7/10 of a second back there.
Not too bad. If the 05 at Wang can just get in that 25 and sniff that draft there, I think he's got a shot here, but I think they're just trying to run their own pace right now, not try to overcut the car in turns. And I think that's what they're trying to do right now, so I don't see anything changing from here on out for a while.
Yeah, a little bit of a moment there back there for Guile Brooks as he gets really loose down to the inside. He's going to have to give a spot up, it looks like, to Brandon Bernhardt there, trying to get around the 81 machine is the 71 machine of Guile Brooks. So definitely a little loose off of turn 2 there, a bit of a moment that we saw in the back of the field. But yeah, for the most part, stringing out pretty much single file. Just hit a long straightaway down. All of those cars single file pretty much throughout the pack, and just trying to settle in as we hit the halfway point at the end of this lap here in this race.
As you see the 25, the Freeze still in our lead here right now, folks. We are on lap 30 out 60. We are halfway home right now, and it is going really fast here. And like I said, once we get past the halfway point, I think that's when we're going to start seeing drivers amp up a little bit. So I think we might see some cautions, but so far so good. Staying green here at Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, we're just over 13 laps into, maybe 12 laps into this green flag run here. Drivers pitting last on lap 17, so we've actually lap 19 was the restart there. But yeah, clicking off, working on lap 31 here so far, and not too much. We still got the Brian Wang's definitely still our biggest mover, up 18 spots. Ryan Cowley up 11. Guile Brooks has had a pretty solid run. He's actually, honestly, from my experience in the leagues that him and I raced together in, Guile's pretty experienced here at Pocono, so he's got a pretty solid showing tonight as he's currently up 7 spots right now in that DeWalt scheme. And yeah, having a pretty good day. Our boss man here at Green White Checker TV. Appreciate all that he does for us for the broadcast and for the league. So don't mind giving our boss here a couple seconds of airtime. And I always love to see all of his DeWalt Matt Kenseth fanboy schemes. So it's cool to see him having a pretty solid night here just inside the top 10 tonight.
And it's not bad to get a top 10 here in Pocono. We know it's a tricky track to handle with the car setups. And I wouldn't be ashamed about getting a top 10 or even a top 5 here tonight.
Yeah, there's definitely some stiff competition in the field. Obviously, Kevin Freese, Brian Wang, and Ryan Kelly have week in, week out been kind of the cream of the crop there in the top five. Obviously, Joshua Hanner, Chris Bassini, and Andrew Paleschi have been right on their heels all season long so far. And Vernon Markheim, I believe that's his first start of the season. He's having a really solid run here, pretty deep into the top 10 in that seventh position, as well as Brandon Bernhardt still starting eighth and staying in eighth right now. And mentioning Gael and Gabe Butler, I mean, there's a lot of past champions here in the field tonight at Area 51, whether it's in the Oval Series or in different series in general. A lot of Super Speedway championships there for that 88 machine of Gabe Butler, as he sits in the 10th position, about 6.6 seconds off the lead. But don't look too soon there, Daniel. Looks like we've got a bit of a battle here brewing for the lead.
Like I mentioned before, if he can sniff that draft, he's going to be on that tail of the 25. And you're going to want to take that opportunity as soon as possible, because that 25 is really fast here tonight. If the 05 at Wang can just get that pace of Ricky Styles Jr. past the 25 of that Jimmy Johnson Lowe's machine there, I think he's got a shot.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see how they run out here and what's going to happen with these this final pit stop if it does stay green. Guess that's something interesting to think about. We restarted around lap 20 with 40 laps to go. You got 30 laps on your fuel window-ish. Let's round it to that at least. What are you gonna do, Daniel? Are you gonna try and break it in half? Are you gonna go 20 and 20, or maybe split it up and do 15 laps and 25 laps? Or are you trying the undercut or the overcut? What's your strategy as far as that many laps to go with 30 laps in fuel?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, we pitted on lap 16 or 17, and I think, well, these drivers are probably going to run maybe another 5, maybe 10 laps if they can stretch it out. And then we're going to start seeing those green flag run pit stops here pretty soon. As you see the 05 of Wang on the inside, the 25 Freeze. As you see the 05 is still side by side coming out turn 3, Logan. Things are getting heated.
Definitely a great battle so far, as the 05 just about got behind the 25, but he's got a better run into turn number 1, so we'll see if he can make this pass stick here. Let's see if we can ride on the roof cam here of the 25 machine, or even better yet, let's watch this battle from behind with number 13, Ryan Kelly, off the nose of him there. Is the 25 real close to the wall, but he's got a better run down the short chute into turn number 2, and the 13 machine almost gets even with the 05, but he's going to let him back in line, and single file they go through the tunnel turn.
Great battling going on. As you see, we are on board of the 13 of Kelly right now in third place. Don't forget, if something happens to these two battling towards the end, if it stays like this, Kelly's sitting in the victory seat right now. But don't count out that 05 of Wang, as he is working on the inside of that 25 still.
Yeah, you see that there is kind of a different approach completely to the corner there. Brian Wang's trying to enter a little bit higher and then cut down low, and trying to get a really good run down the long straightaway here on the front stretch, as the 05 absolutely sends it. He's going to slide up in front of the 25 and try to take that lead away. The 25 is going to cross him over. Oh my gosh, what a battle for the front. But you see in turn number 3, the 25 machine was kind of taking that high lane approach, where he's kind of entering high and just staying high and trying to keep that momentum up throughout the corner, as the 05 is just having fun throwing haymakers here early on.
Hey, I mean, you got to try it. You have to give it a shot here.
Yeah, because if he can get clear and stay ahead of him, he may have an opportunity to check out a little bit. Obviously, he's caught the 25 of Kevin Freese, on a little bit better, maybe tire management throughout the run here. So let's see. It'll be interesting to see if we've got a bit of a run for the 05 or not into turn number 1, but definitely a little more breathing room for the 25 this time by, as the 05 now settles back in about 0.2 of a second off the lead.
Yeah, as you see the top 3 all within a half a second of each other right now. But I mean, look at the 05. He's getting another run here, so he's going to be passing 25 within maybe 2 turns here.
Yeah, and don't look now. I mean, Joshua Hanner's still moving his way up towards the front as these guys kind of battle it up in the front. So Joshua Henner's only about a second off of the lead there now in 4th place. So he's kind of starting to creep up on this group, as well as Andrew Plush. You see here, him getting all he can off of turn 2 there in that white 82 machine in the back there. But definitely starting to close in a little bit here as we get close to pit stops and what will likely be the final pit stop of the race.
And that is the money stop. You don't want to overshoot your pit stall. You don't want to speed coming off. You don't want to speed coming on. So you got to get it just right if you want to have a shot here. As you see, we might have some pitters here. As you see, it looks like it's the, what is that, 28?
Yep, 28 machine of Carl Henderson and Austin Call in a 64 Tide Ride in on, well, let's say 23 laps to go. I don't want to do the math for what lap it actually is. So they are in for what will be their final pit stop of the race as the leaders continue on down into the tunnel turn here. Maybe that's not too much of an undercut, but you know, we kind of split the, after we went back green, we kind of split the race in about you know, 40 laps to go ish or so. They're coming down a couple laps early, but they're going to try and see what they can do with the undercut there, as Carl and Austin was working his way back up through the field. But we actually got another taker here. Ryan Kelly's going to try the undercut in that 13 machine. Ooh, he gets a little sideways as he locks him up. Hopefully he did not speed. As you already mentioned, Daniel, that's definitely crucial on your final stop, especially if it's a green flag stop. You have to execute. You cannot speed. You have to get in your box. You cannot slide through your box. You cannot pass go. Do not collect $200. You have to be perfect on this final stop, especially if it's a green or if it's a green flag stop.
Yeah, you don't want to make a mistake now, because if you do, forget about it. You're not going to get that race win.
Yeah.
So just try your best entering pit road and not making a mistake here.
Yeah, so the other taker so far is Nate Warren, so that puts 4 cars that have made their final pit stop of the race here, working on 22 laps to go. We'll see, it looks like the 25 is going to duck off here low into the inside. The 82 of Andrew Pileshi is going to join him as well, and I think that's it for this lap. Well, actually nope. Gael Brooks is going to prove me wrong. He's going to come in this time by as well, as pit road's getting more spicy here with the 23 of Austin Merkel and Todd Merkel, sorry Todd. James Ledford and Ryan Decker also in this time, so a lot more action on pit road as you see the 71 of Gael Brooks getting cleanly into his pit stall there. Actually, we got so with that, looks like Kevin Freese actually came in that time by as well. Well, we mentioned that, yeah, as he was coming in, so he's going to try a little bit of an undercut, at least to Brian Wang, and now that relegates lead mentioned to Brian Wang, Joshua Hanner, and Chris Bassini currently in 2nd and 3rd right now. So we'll see if they answer the call and if they try to come down pit road this time, or if they're going to keep on going. It looks like the 05 is going to hang it out wide. He's going to try and make his way down on pit road. Just make sure everyone gets in their box okay, and definitely does not speed on pit road. But most of the field here coming down, most of the rest at least, Joshua Hanner, Chris Bassini, Vernon Markheim, William Gunn in this time. So that's going to leave the lead to Brandon Bernhardt and Gabe Butler. The only other driver who has not pitted yet is on pit road right now. That was Chris Oliver. So the only 2 drivers that now have not pitted are Brandon Bernhardt and Gabe Butler. So they're going to try and do this the overcut, or the running it long strategy here. We'll see how that works out for Brandon and Gabe, who are running, I believe, 9th and 10th, or 10th and 11th. They're just on the cusp of the top 10. Or no, actually, Brandon was in 8th, I believe, before the pit cycles, and Gabe was just outside the top 10. So we'll have to wait and see how these guys, how it plays out for them. But Brandon's definitely tried some alternate strategies so far this season, and it's worked out pretty well for him, I think, so far. But we'll have to see if this works out tonight here at Pocono.
Yeah, I mean, Bernhardt, we haven't talked about him a lot lately, and with just 19 laps to go. Do you think they're on a different strategy than the guys that are pitting? Maybe hoping for a caution?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that's, you know, kind of their goal here. And I think for the most part, they should be able to go maybe another probably 5 to 10 laps or so. So I think we're maybe hoping that somebody made an error as far as, you know, coming back out on the track and causing a caution. But definitely, it is such a big track, though. If you look at the timing, Brandon Bernhardt, as the leader, is only 27 seconds ahead of Ryan Kelly in third place. And as we take a peek back to these guys, so with that undercut, Ryan Kelly has actually made his way around the 25 machine of Kevin Freese, and Brian Wang is quite a bit of ways behind these drivers now. As you see, Andrew Pileshi is in the 5th spot and probably going to eventually assume what would be the 3rd spot, as Brandon Bernhardt's going to come down on pit road this time. But so Ryan Kelly, so far, the undercut is working for him really well. He pitted on lap 38. Kevin Freese 1 lap later on lap 39, though. Kevin Freese on those fresh tires is starting to run Ryan down a little bit. Last time by, Kevin Freese ran a 53.68. That's the fastest lap of the race so far from that 25 machine. So definitely not slowing down, and he's going to do what he can to try and run back down our leader of Ryan Kelly.
I don't know if he's going to have enough time here, Logan. I mean, look, we're already on lap. We're literally with, 18 laps to go already? I mean, I don't think he's going to have time here. I mean, if he does have time, it's probably going to be a last lap move.
Yeah, we'll see. That last time by, Ryan Kelly ran a 53.99 to Kevin Freese's 53.81. So there's only about 0.8 of a second between the two. So if Kevin continues that 0.2 a lap pace, it's not going to take long for him to catch Ryan Kelly, but we'll see if that is sustainable for the 25 machine or not. These guys have definitely really only had the first part of the previous run to get an idea of where the others will be as far as speed goes. So definitely interesting. But something that I want to point out here, we get Brian Wang now. He, in the 05 machine, he is now between Joshua Hanner and Chris Piscini. So a couple drivers now getting by him on that pit cycle. And just on pit road alone, Brian Wang spent 52.83 seconds, whereas both Joshua Hanner and Chris Piscini were at 50.83 and 50.73 seconds themselves. So that's 2 whole seconds longer on pit road at pit road speeds for Brian Wang than Joshua Hanner or Chris Piscini. And there really wasn't that much of a difference in their pit stop time. So definitely goes to show you, like you mentioned, that money stop is critical. And unfortunately, I think didn't quite work out there for Brian Wang.
Even if it does happen, it's not on purpose. It's just part of racing, Logan, I mean, I'm sure you had mistakes like that before. I've had mistakes like that before. Yeah, you get frustrated, but you keep moving on. Hey, as long as you get a top 5 or a top 10 still, and you made a mistake, I would still be pretty impressed from that.
Oh, definitely. And I may or may not have came into the pits at Atlanta as the leader and missed pit entry and then sped, so had about a minute and 20 of stop and hold time. So it definitely happens. So, who knows? Maybe just need to adjust the lights there for pit road speed, or just had maybe he could have also slid through his box too. Not sure for Brian Wang, but I mean, like you mentioned, still a very respectable top 5 as he's up 15 spots still in the night. But it is the 13 car at the front of this pack who is up 13 spots with what will be 15 laps this time by at the stripe, trying to hold off a hard charging Kevin Freese, but to the 100th, they were 100th off of each other that last time by. So that gap of about 0.6 seconds now starting to even out for the number 13 as tires starting to wear a little bit more for both of these drivers.
And look who is in the lead. It is Kelly still. And I mean, were you expecting Kelly to get around the 25 with 15 laps to go?
I mean, I'm quite surprised at how well the undercut has worked so far. I know in other cars, typically that's not always the best move, but it just depends on your driving style and what you can do with saving tires and everything. Who knows? Maybe Ryan. I mean, Ryan was starting to run down the 25 towards the end of that last run, so maybe that showed Ryan that he had what he needed to try the undercut, and he knew that eventually he would even out to Kevin and have a little bit more in the tank, even if Kevin had a couple laps fresher tires on him. So who knows? That could be the strategy move of the race if this stays green with 14 laps to go.
And we haven't seen a lot of wrecks here. We only saw like that one race incident between the 64 and the I forgot who the other driver was. But I mean, everything else was pretty clean here tonight. I think it was a good race so far. And as you see, the 25 of Freeze now closing the gap on the 14. My bad, not 14, 13 of Kelly. Do you think there's going to be another move here within the next lap or two?
We'll see. That last time by, Kevin was 0.2 of a second faster than Ryan, so definitely figuring something out here as the 25 machine is going to just about get to his bumper. But I want to pull it back here to Austin Call, actually. He's had a pretty solid rebound so far, currently running in the 11th position as he's trying to make his way around the 23. Still looks like he's got a fair amount of damage on that car, so he may have saved that fast repair for later and just try to do as much damage repair as he can. So, I mean, 11th place with a very damaged car, definitely a solid run for that 64 recovery. Is I think the other one wasn't it Ryan Kelly that was also involved in that wreck as well?
I think it was. I wasn't sure. I was going to say Ryan Kelly, but I mean, I think it was. I think you're right. It was Ryan Kelly in the 64. And I wasn't expecting him to be up front. I really wasn't.
Yeah, definitely. I'm assuming that the 13 may have taken that fast repair that they typically allot in the series here at Area 51. But Ryan Kelly here, going from 13 to 12 laps to go now. That 13 machine's definitely got a mirror full of the 25 of Kevin Freese. Kevin Freese is trying to get back to that number 1 starting position, see what he can do to run down the 13, and I think this is probably going to be one of the best battles that we have tonight. We do also have a pretty solid battle between, looks like Joshua Hanner, Brian Wang, and Andrew Pileshi here now for third, so that final spot on the podium is heavily contested with 12 laps to go here. So maybe we'll keep an eye on this for just a second here, see if we can see anything crazy happen. It looks like Kevin, or no, we had a wreck
bring
here.
Out the caution. There it is.
Yeah. I saw someone's interval changing, and it was looks like Andrew Pileshi, unfortunately, there, as you're going to see him get back going. Let's see if we can pull up what happened here for the number 82 machine, as he had a great run going in the top 5.
They did have a great run going. I think it was just too many cars at too many times going through the turn there. We're going to have to check that replay there, or somebody got loose or something. I mean, they were fine going into turn 1. Let's see what happens here. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
2 looks like he just clipped the left quarter panel there on the 82 right there.
A little bit of help for, wow, that's a lot of damage for all 3 of those guys, but a little bit of help from the 2 for the 82, and then a lot of help for the 2 from the 05. So let's see if we can get a roof cam here for the 2 machine of Joshua Hanner. We'll pull that up. And it's the nose camera here. We'll pull that up on the replay.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a roof cam on that.
Yeah, point of the caution here. You see, we'll back it up here just a pinch and try to get a good view of what happened as we get through the corner. And
sensitive, maybe a little too much.
Yeah, we'll see. So at quarter speed here, you see the 82 sends it in pretty good, and the 2 machine just kind of backing up the corner just a little bit, trying to get a good run off the corner and having some momentum. Definitely back on the gas a lot sooner than the 82. He checks up as he gets there, but man, that's barely any contact, and unfortunately the 82 is around, and we'll see the 2 machine get picked up by the 05 here. So I had a feeling that was coming too. So let's take a moment on the roof cam of the 05 and look at his vantage point here before we'll get to what's happening on our pit cycle here. But take a look here.
I'm going to have to say Ricky's face is upside down right now.
Yeah, we'll see here as the 02, you see, backs up the corner a little bit, got a good run through the center, and got back to the 82 a little bit quicker than maybe the 82 was expecting. But we'll see here as you see the 2 gets back on the throttle there. Contact made just about here. The 82 starting to slide, and they both check up, and unfortunately the 05 really nowhere to go, and he definitely drives all the way through to the rear axle of the 2 machine, so he was not expecting that checkup. Hopefully Ricky Stenhouse is okay after that action there for the 05, but yeah, definitely a bit of just a racing deal there, I would think there, Daniel.
Yeah, it's just a racing incident. It happens. Like if you're in a group going into turn 2 at Pocono, or any turn in Pocono, if somebody's going to check up and you have no idea, you have no time to react, and you just hit into the back of each other and just causes a chain reaction for each driver behind you. But it happens. I mean, there's nothing you can do. It's just a racing incident, and you gotta move on from it.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to take it back to just a moment ago. We saw pit stops happening for our leaders as the number 13 machine of Ryan Kelly leads them down onto pit road with the 25 of Kevin Freese behind him, the 1 of Chris Bassini, and looks like pretty much the whole field here coming down pit road as we see looks like one car is going to get the wave around. I think that's actually Jim Brooks back on the track, so he'll get the wave around the pace car. And actually, no, that's the 071 of Eric Laurie. Sorry. Yeah, Eric Laurie. Yeah, 071 of Eric Laurie getting his lap back there. Looks like as we're going to see this race off of pit road and see who comes out on top. Is it going to be the 13 of Ryan Kelly, or is it going to be the 25 of Kevin Freese in that number 1 pit stall? It's going to be a bit of a drag race, but looks like the 25 machine has a clean pit exit and is going to take the race back over here. And we're going to speed this up just a little bit here and see if we can get back to live action and where we're at with the grid as drivers are lined up back behind the pace car there. So after the pit stops, which happened a little bit ago, we did that on replay there just to show you the action. But so Kevin Freese is going to take back over the lead. Ryan Kelly's going to be on the outside. Chris Bassini in the 3rd position. Look at Mr. Gael Brooks now up 12 positions. He is in the 4th spot. And everybody taking 4 tires there on that final stop except for the number 17 machine of Ryan Decker. So that'll be something to keep an eye on to see if that 2-stop strategy is going to work here or not. Do you think it's going to be advantageous or no?
Oh, I think everybody is going to be very aggressive on this restart. Nobody's going to let up at this point. I think it's time to go. Now we got this caution. Could be the last one for tonight. Could not be the last one for tonight. So we're going to have to see how this restart handles out. But I do expect we're probably going to have another caution because I think these drivers are going to go all in on this restart.
Yeah, definitely. I think at this point, you know, you're not quite running qualifying laps because you can't really do that for 8 laps, but it's going to feel quite a bit as close to that as possible. So definitely going to be interesting to see so far. Definitely an advantage for Kevin. He's had the advantage on every restart so far. I believe this is actually the first restart that Ryan Kelly will be on the front row, so we'll have to see how that plays out if Kevin's going to get the jump. But we've seen Kevin have the strong run early on in the run, but Ryan Kelly definitely going to have to see if he can adjust his strategy to try and make something happen on this, what will be a short run to the green, or to the checkered flag here as we are up through the gears underway. Kevin Freese with a great start. He's going to get up and clear the number 13 machine. The number 1 of Chris Bassini is going to settle into 2nd place. And then Gael Brooks is going to settle in there. Looks like behind Joshua Henner side by side with him. So we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. But so far...
Oh, big one.
Oh, big one. Back in the field here. We'll see.
Looks like 28.
Yeah, looks like a couple cars wrecking here. We got a yellow flag out on the speedway right now. Carl Henderson involved. Vernon Markheim, who was having a great run for his first race of the season, was Vernon. He has jumped to the pits, and Carl Henderson also crashing there as well as he catches back up to the field. But we'll take a look at that here, see what happened.
Logan, I'm going to have a feeling this is going to be happening on each restart.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping not, but I think you're definitely definitely think you're going to be right here. But we see the 28 machine. You see him there peeking out on the inside lane of turn number 1. See if we can get, there we go, TV1 camera here, and starting to come up the track, and he's clear the 23, and he just looks like the 23 or 23. I'm not sure if the 28 just kind of cleared the nose of Todd Merkel there, but unfortunate for Vernon there. Really nowhere to go in that number 906 machine. Gets a little bit of, looks like he clipped the 28 there at the beginning, and after the fact, it looks like a little bit of a contact there maybe from something else because we saw him spinning across the track. So we'll keep an eye on that as looks like he's going to get back to the gas here. And, yeah, almost spins out by himself. I'm not sure if he had any help or not, but that's going to be a ton of damage to the front end of that number 906 machine.
Man, 2 wrecks and 1 at the end of turn 1 in turn.
Ooh, the
5 again of turn 1, the end of turn 1. But now with this caution coming out with 8 to go, Were we expecting on this restart again? We expecting another caution, or are we gonna expect a green finish?
We'll see. I mean, I think it's definitely going to be aggressive. Obviously, it's hard to really know what happened there between Todd and Carl, but definitely thought that they were clear, and unfortunately, a little bit of contact, and we'll see. I think that's going to make Carl. It's going to force Carl to see him on pit road there. He's going to have to take that fast repair more than likely. Not sure if there's any nose damage to the 23 of Todd Merkel from that incident, but it looked like he fared fairly well after that. And I think Vernon Markheim, he has looks like retired for the evening, unfortunately. And at the mention as well, we also had the 51 of Jim Brooks, who had retired from an incident earlier on that we were unable to catch on the broadcast. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I'm sure, at least, maybe from an admin's perspective, maybe a few notes on trying to keep the patience going through these final restarts. But definitely a lot of guys who think they've got a pretty solid opportunity to win this one here late in the stages, Daniel.
I think this is going to be anybody's game here tonight. I mean, with 6 laps to go, we're going to probably restart with 5 laps to go, which means we could see some 3-wide action heading down into turn 1. And if we get 3-wide action, that means we might see some wrecks in turn 1 again. So we're going to have to see how this thing plays out. I don't see anybody pitting. I think we're just going to stay out, line up, and do it all over again.
Yeah, everybody pitting last, except for Carl Henderson at the last caution there. So they will be on the 3 or 4 lap old tires, but they'll all be even at the front of the pack, and we'll have to wait and see here. But we're going to take a second to step away, and we'll be back right after the yellow flag here for the restart. All right, just a second there to catch our breath, as we're probably going to need a few moments here after the race to do that as well, because it is shaping up to be an exciting restart. Kevin Freese, again, the control car, as he is going to roll into the Geico restart zone. Pace car down onto pit road. Back underway here at Pocono on Green White Checkered TV in the Area 51 series on Thursday nights. Ryan Kelly's going to get that second spot, as the 25 machine is going to make his way to the lead again. As we mentioned here, we'll see a little bit more behaving throughout the field this time through turn number 1. Chris Piscini is going to take over that 3rd spot, but that 4th spot of Joshua Hanner is going to be contested. Oh, we got a wreck towards the back. We'll see if it stays green. Eric Laurie down on low on the apron there. unfortunate for him, but we're going to stay green rolling at the front of this pack. So looks like Gael Brooks not able to make that pass on the 2 machine, but Joshua Henner is going to keep that 4th spot for now.
3 wide.
With 3 wide in the back here is Brian Wang's going to try and make a move underneath the 48 machine here. Not sure if they touched, but definitely very close there. As he's going to get underneath the 81, and he's going to try and slide his way back up into the top 10 here with that move, and he hits the wall off of turn number 3.
Yeah, as you see Wang there, he clips his right rear quarter panel against that wall, but look at first and second place really close, within half a second of each other. Let's see if the 13 of Kelly has anything to say to the 25.
Frank Kelly, I can't believe that the 25 machine is running so high in that second lane in turn number 1, but it is working really well for him. He's had the short run pace so far here tonight, but Ryan Kelly's been the star on the long run. So with this short run to the finish here, do you think Ryan's going to have enough in the tank to get him back?
I think he might have a chance, because look at how the 13 enters the corner. His rear is not slipping all over the place. But look at the 25, how his rear just slips up. See how his car slips up and now the 13 just stays right there? That means the 13 has a little more grip. And as you see, he's now drafting with the 25 with literally 2 laps to go here. I think he's just waiting for that white flag to make that move.
It'll be interesting to see what happens for sure, as the 13 still running the bottom lane on corner entry. Gets close to the 25, but not enough to get to the inside. They're going to make their way down the second longest straightaway into the tunnel turn of turn number 2 with 2 laps to go here. Very, very, very exciting, as Brian Kelly actually just ran the fastest lap of the race last time by a 53.67, so he's wheeling that thing trying to get around that number 25 machine.
Hey, yeah, sometimes I won't be shocked if the 13 and Brian Kelly sends it in and tries to loosen up that 25 there in the turn to get around him. But here they come down the front straightaway with a 1 lap to go here at Pocono Raceway, Logan. You think he's going to make a move? You think he's got time?
We'll see here, as he's going to try his efforts in turn number 1. Going to probably run the bottom there, as the 25's been running that second lane. He gets close, not enough to be inside off the corner, I don't think, but he's going to have a pretty solid run here. It looks like through between turns 1 and 2 into the tunnel turn, see if he can get a good run off that tunnel turn into turn 3 and make that move in the final lap of this race.
Ryan Kelly all over the back bumper to 25. Here comes Ryan Kelly. 25 gets a little loose. Ryan Kelly's going to have to make a move here in turn 3. He's going to have to probably send it in a little bit. Here we go. Ryan Kelly to the inside.
He goes to the inside there, doesn't wash up. He's actually holding the line there pretty well. They're going to come off the corner side by side. It's going to be a battle to the line. The 25 of Kevin Freese has the momentum on the outside. A little bit of a touch from the 13. But Kevin Freese is going to hold on to win his first race of the season after a great last lap battle and a little bit of a shove there from the 13 machine of Ryan Kelly after the fact. A little playful, fun energy there from those guys. But, man, what a heck of a battle we saw throughout tonight. Early stages of this race being dominated by Kevin Freese. Once the 13 of Ryan Kelly got there, though, he was there to stay for quite a while. Had the moves on the long run, but fortunately for Kevin Freese, the short run was the ticket at the end as he collects his first win. 3 different winners on the season so far. Wow, what do you think there, Daniel? How about a finish for your first ever race here at Green White Checker TV?
Well, all I can say, Logan, it was an exciting race here to make my debut broadcast here at Pocono Raceway in this Gen 4 series. And I can't wait to see what the Xfinity Series brings this Sunday in the Super Speedway Series. But congratulations to the 25 of Freese. He's been really strong throughout this whole race. And I really thought the 13 of Ryan Kelly had something. He tried it. That's all you can do. I really thought he was going to send it in. I felt like if he sent it in a little deeper into turn 3, he might have moved the 25 up the track, and then he would have got around him. But you know what? He didn't want to upset the 25, and that's just good sportsmanship right there between the 25 and the 13. And we couldn't ask for a better race here tonight at Pocono Raceway.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I definitely saw the 13 send it in there and wasn't quite sure if it was going to stick, but it absolutely did. Definitely wondering if he was hoping to keep that in his back pocket, maybe to try that 1 lap earlier, but but definitely got to do what you got to do on the last lap, and he kept it clean, kept it on the bottom, and we had a pretty solid run. Fortunately for Kevin Freese, he had the momentum off of corner number 3 and made it happen here tonight as we see him burning it down on the front straightaway. So, man, what an exciting battle here in the later stages. Definitely a little bit more fun to see with some of the yellows that we had. Had a really good long green flag run there towards the middle stages of the race, and yeah, definitely really excited that we got to see that finish. Hate to see some of the guys taken out for some of the later incidents, but that's sometimes just the way racing goes, and we'll get a chance to interview our top 3 here in just a moment. All right, so kicking off those interviews, we've got the number 1 machine from Closed Circuit Racing of Chris Piscini. Definitely a great race for you guys tonight. We saw you and your teammate there, Joshua Hanner, in the top 5 pretty much all night long, maybe just outside the top 5 at some points, but you came home P3 tonight, and a really great podium for you guys. How did that race go from your perspective, Chris? Chris
I'm
Piscini, we
sorry,
got a...
wrong button.
Yep, oh, there you go. We got a copy, Chris?
Yeah, I'm here. I kind of screwed myself most of the night. Kept smacking the wall a couple times, and unfortunately, I didn't have short run pace. So I noticed on that last green flag run, maybe like the last 10 or so laps of it, I started reeling everybody back in, but then it was time to pit. So it was unfortunate. I was hoping it was going to go green to the end, but luckily I was going to be happy with like a top 5, top 6, wherever I was. But I'll I'll take a P3 out of that.
Yeah, definitely a pretty solid earned third position there. Looking at the beautiful Steve Park Winston Cup throwback there for that machine. Maybe take us through some of the reasoning behind picking the paint scheme there.
Well, I'm from New York. I'm from Long Island. I've actually I've met Steve Park. I know him. I know his uncle because I used to be on a modified team out in the local short track, and our trailer used to park next to his uncle every week, and we'd always hang out. And being that his hometown was only maybe 10 miles away from me, gotta gotta show the New York love.
Yeah, definitely. That's exciting. How if you're racing modifieds, how does that skill translate to some of this sim rig and sim racing stuff that you do here?
I wish I could say I race modifieds, but I was just part of the crew. Gee, thanks a lot. Uh, Unfortunately, probably in practice, not really, because I can only get on here once, maybe twice a week if I'm lucky. So if I have a good night, it's awesome. If I have a bad night, it's kind of expected, but just see how far my luck can take me.
Hello, Chris. This is Daniel on the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
So, what do you think you could have done better to at least maybe get the victory here tonight at Pocono?
Well, not smack the wall on my own a couple times,
Yeah.
and turn 3 was absolutely the death of me. It wasn't until like I followed Josh for a little while I started realizing just like how much deeper he was going in, and then all of a sudden everything clicked, and I'm like, "Ah, you're an idiot." But yeah, I could have done a lot better all around. But I'll P3 is just feels like a win.
Yeah, nothing to be too ashamed of. Definitely a hard earn. I mean, we've seen you and Joshua. I mean, pretty much on top of each other all season long. Is that does that teammate rivalry make it more fun? Is it enjoyable to have somebody that you can run side by side, door to door with, lap in, lap out, and know it's someone that's you're probably going to be more competitive with, right? Being a teammate.
Yeah, it's I. He was really good on the short run, so I told him they're coming to the restart. I'm like, if I could hold my position, fine. If you want to battle me for it, but I'm like, if you get a good run, as long as there's a good enough gap behind you, I'm just gonna lift and let you go because he would have a better shot at
I
short
have to
run pace
go.
trying to catch somebody than I would.
Yeah, definitely exciting to see their that battle so far at the end, and I mean, still obviously a great run for you two throughout the night. So definitely cool to see two top fives for the team there. So yeah, definitely want to give you one last opportunity there, Chris, for any thanks or shout outs for that podium placing tonight.
Just a shout out to the team, Josh, Carl, Brandon. Lassen, who's not here. Just then a shout out to my dad because I know he normally watches when he can.
Yeah, definitely appreciate him joining the broadcast and checking it out and watching. And yeah, definitely, like I said, mentioned a really solid third place run for you guys tonight, and hope to see you maybe capitalize and grab a win for the team here coming up soon.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Yep, have a good night. All right, so we're going to bring in our next interview. That will be the second place driver of Ryan Kelly, who had a wonderful run towards the end of the race. Definitely saw in the middle stages there, you seem to have a little bit more of a longer run. Not setup, I can't say because they're all fixed setups here, but seem to have more of a long run pace compared to the 25 of Kevin Freese. I'm assuming you were probably hoping that race stayed green for the rest of the way, and did you think you had what it took to hold them off if it did go green?
Yeah, I was hoping it would stay green. We were pretty even tonight. I think in the beginning of the run he was a little quicker, and towards the end I was able to hold him off. Definitely was hoping it stayed green. Had about a second and a half on him after that pit stop, and was kind of just managing my tires as he was getting to me. And I know once we pit, we discussed our tires were actually pretty similar, so it would have been a good finish there. But wound up battling with the new tires at the end, and yeah, it was just super hard to pass tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so obviously with a little bit of a better, longer run pace or line that you were running there, how do you adjust for that towards the end there? When I think the last second to last restart was what, about 8 laps to go. How do you adjust for a shorter run? Is there anything that you can do within the car or within your line to try and give yourself more pace and catch up at the end there? Or
Yeah, just think about your qualifying lap and that line that you're on to really hit that hot lap. It's towards the end you kind of just focus up and try and hit those last 8 or 9 laps as fast as you can. But yeah, came out second tonight, and I know Kevin's an extremely fast driver, so I'm not too disappointed to come in behind him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a pretty solid season so far. Obviously, with the win last week and second place this week, so definitely has to feel good to be in the front of the standings here so far, and seems like it could be pretty much early on one of the contenders, I'd think, for probably the playoffs. Don't you think?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Got good races for the last 4, good tracks, and hopefully we'll be there contending, and it'll be a good season.
Yeah. So from now until the playoffs, obviously there's a little bit to focus on in that middle point of the season, if you will, as we kind of get through the first maybe quarter of the season. What do you kind of focus on in these next I think it's 7 or 5 races here before we get into that playoff round?
Yeah, it's just about being consistent, trying not to make mistakes, and just getting the best finish every week. Those points add up there at the end of the season, and it's been 1 point or 2 points separates guys when the time comes. So just to make sure you get all the points possible.
It definitely makes a big difference, and we've seen a lot of championships in the real world and in the sim world come down to 1 or 2 points, or I mean, even we've seen ties in the NASCAR Cup Series for the championship. So got to earn those where you can. But yeah, great long run pace. It was really cool to see you kind of run down the leaders and eventually Kevin Freese towards the middle stages and towards the end of the race. Obviously, unfortunate to not be on the top spot of the podium, but still a solid effort for you again, Ryan. Week in, week out so far this season. Want to give you one last chance for any thanks or shout outs for that second place finish tonight.
Yeah, just my crew chief tonight, Larry Mack, America's crew chief, and Oh yeah, just all the teammates tonight and all the guys putting on the league. It's really well run and a lot of fun with these cars. And you guys up in the booth, of course.
Yeah, I didn't realize you had an ace in the hole with Larry Mack on the pit crew on top of the pit box there tonight.
Yeah, he's been helping me out a couple of races and always does a good job for me.
Yeah, definitely lots of fun for sure. So, well, congratulations once again, Ryan, and probably have a feeling we'll be interviewing you a few more times throughout the season, but heck of a run tonight trying to get that second place spot.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
All right, so that leaves us with one more interview, and that is the race winner from the evening. We'll back up the replay just a second so you can see him manage that last lap before we bring him up, but that was the 25 machine of Kevin Freese taking home the top spot of the podium. Had a great run towards the beginning of the race. Kind of fell back a little bit there as Ryan Kelly took the undercut during the first green flag pit cycle, but you were able to regain the lead back on pit road and never looked back tonight. Kevin, how take us through how that win went for you tonight?
Yeah, it was a fun track. The Pocono sure is a tricky one with just trying to manage not overdriving or underdriving corner entry and setting up your corner exit, especially out of turn 3, because if you mess up out of turn 3, it's a very long, miserable front stretch there. But I was hoping as that after the cycle of pit stops, I ran down Ryan a little bit there and felt like I didn't burn up my stuff doing it. So I was really hoping he and I could race it out there for the finish, but we still had a pretty good battle there, especially at the end on that last lap. I was just trying not to again, overdrive the corners and just mess up myself. But by doing that, I was just getting out of the rhythm I had been in and let him get a little close.
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed with Ryan. I mean, he definitely threw it in on the bottom, but very, very, methodically, and had the line held it. And unfortunately for him, but fortunate for you, obviously the top side prevailed in that momentum to bring home that win. So. Was that when that yellow came out there with was about 10 laps to go or so? What were you were you immediately excited knowing that you kind of had a little bit better of a short run car or a short run feel than Ryan did?
I didn't know because that just opens you up to so many bad things can happen from that. Somebody just absolutely sends it off into the corner and you happen to be the person right in front of them. It could be very unfortunate, but that's why I went as pretty early compared to the restart before. The restart before I waited until we were in the NASCAR restart box, but that one I didn't wait nearly as long because I wanted to make sure that I could have a little gap just to have that buffer of security off the corner and not worry about if I did spin my tires in the corner that I couldn't back out of it, or I'd give up a ton. I could take it nice and easy off the corner, just focus on that. But I really would have wanted to see how that run played out right before that yellow with 10 to go, because I don't know how much he was saving. I wasn't saving a whole lot, but I felt like I didn't damage my tires too much. When we came into the pits and compared percentages, we were pretty much dead even. I think he had on his rear because the rear tires seem to be way more sensitive than the fronts. His rears were just a tiny bit worse than mine, so maybe I could have used that. But that was a lot of he was running that bottom line a lot tonight, and I just from practice I couldn't go down there without losing all my momentum off the corner, especially turn 3. Turn 1 and 2, it was like that transition off the corner. I get a little loose, but turn 3 it was just sideways, and then I figured out the second and third was kind of smooth, so I was like, there's a ton of grip up here, I'm gonna stay up here for the whole race.
Yeah, we saw you move up there in turns pretty much turn 1 and really in turn 3 as well. Obviously the tunnel turn, there really isn't too much of a different line that you can run there, but I mean, was that something that you put some practice into earlier in the race, or is that just something that you noticed that with the track changing that was better for your car and your handling and everything?
It was more of a comfort thing for me. I found I did a short practice session this afternoon, and I just found that I was getting the car was just more stable, and I could control rear tire, like keep them from spinning too much from the slide up the track to the wall, like when you're doing your corner exit. So I just wanted to stay as smooth as possible because the tires are so sensitive in this car. If you just overheat them a tiny bit, it's a very long rest of the run. So I was just trying to be smart with the way I was running.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for the most part, you manage the tires the best. I mean, obviously, Brian maybe a little bit better on the long run, but short run, you were the guy throughout the night, and definitely excited to see that last lap battle go your way, and pretty solid P1 for you, first win of the season. So, yeah, want to give you one last chance, I should say, for any thanks and shout-outs for that win tonight, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks to Ryan Racing Clean there. It's always fun battling with him on the track, and thanks to all the boys at Team Bootnaka. Thanks to you for putting on the broadcast tonight. It's fun to go back, watch them, see the interviews and all that, watch the race, things. You pick up on driver trends in those that you don't see when you're behind the wheel. And thanks to Gail for all the work he does behind the scenes for this league. It's a ton of work to run a league, and he does a great job with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just remembering one question that I knew I wanted to ask you, but where does the passion for the throwback scheme for Jimmy Johnson come from?
Oh, I was a Jimmy fan from 2002, so it's hard now with his switch to Toyota. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I was a Jimmy fan his whole entire career. Absolutely loved it. Got to meet him twice, so it was good times.
Okay, so that's cool. So Chris Piscini, and I forgot to ask Ryan Kelly about his too, because obviously he's got the Jeff Gordon throwback. But Chris said he's met Steve Park, who he's thrown it back to, and you've met Jimmy Johnson, who you've thrown it back to. So it's really cool to see some of the real world NASCAR connections and some fan aspects to you guys as drivers in the league here.
Yeah, it's fun, especially with these Gen 4 cars. Everybody's getting creative on what they want to throw back to, and it's cool. I absolutely love these cars. I can't thank the league enough for giving us a chance to run these because they are not easy to drive, so it's a heck of a risk. But yeah. I think so far we're doing really well with them.
Oh yeah, it's been a lot of fun watching you guys wheel it. So yeah, it's been fun for us, and hopefully fun for you guys out on track as well. But want to say congratulations once again, Kevin, and I'm sure one of many more interviews to come for throughout this season.
That's the plan. Thank you.
All right, that'll do it for Kevin Freese in the number 25 machine. That Jimmy Johnson, beautiful Jimmy Johnson throwback. And we did lose our second chair there, but don't worry, we'll have him back. Sounds like he'll be back for more races throughout the season. But before I go for tonight, we're going to pull up these race results here. Get you an idea of where the field finished out. And here we go. This should be, yeah, there we go. Hey, they popped up. Hey, we can figure that out. Okay, cool. So we've got those on the screen. Kevin Freese, obviously we just talked to him, number 25 for Team Bootnaka. Winner tonight after 60 laps at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. Survived a late last lap charge through turn number 3 from Ryan Kelly in the number 13 machine, who threw in an absolute heck of a corner on the inside there, keeping it clean, trying to drag race to the line. Ryan Kelly comes home second place, though, behind Kevin. And we already talked to Chris Piscini in the number 1 machine, taking home that third spot this evening. Just behind him was Joshua Hanner, qualified second, ended up fourth. A solid night, pretty much in the top 5 the entire time for Joshua as well. 2 closed circuit racing drivers in third and fourth. Gael Brooks up 11 spots, so he was actually our third highest charger for the evening, so he finished up 11 spots. Ryan Kelly finished up 12 in 13th. Yeah, pretty solid effort there for Gael. Took 4 tires in the final pit stop, but for some reason, he was able to gain a lot of traction or a lot of track position on pit road there in that final stop, and held on to that solid top 5 position for the evening. back in 6th place was Ryan Decker. So that was the one that we mentioned. He took 2 tires on that final restart, or on the final pit stop, sorry, I should say, before the final restart. So he was actually our 4th highest mover, up 9 positions. Definitely a great strategy call for him that played out pretty well, as Brian Wang, our highest climber, in the 7th position, up 13 spots. Obviously had a little bit of trouble there getting into the back of Joshua Hanner after he got into the back of Andrew Pileshi as well. So a decent recovery for Brian, as he was at the back of the field, drove all the way to the front, got put back in the field, and drove all the way back up to 7th. So I don't think anybody passed more cars, not just in the final standings, but just throughout the entire night, as Brian Wang is really hard fought 7th place position for him tonight. Kind of a quiet night there for Gabe Butler, but pretty much in the top 10 almost the entire night. Started 11th and made his way up to 8th. Obviously, Gabe very skilled in the Super Speedway Series here that we run on Sunday nights as well. So watch him on Sundays, as he's going to be definitely one to beat, but really good effort for him tonight in the 88 machine, coming home 8th place. And Todd Merkel, we saw him have a little bit of an issue with Carl Henderson there, as they both kind of got tied up into turn number 1, but Todd still pulls a top 10 out of that after qualifying 7th on the evening, so pretty solid effort for him tonight. And Andrew Pileshi, still a top 10 for him. I guarantee he would have wanted more, probably could have been up closer to the top 5 with how he was running in most of the night, so unfortunate to see him slide back to 10th after a great effort, but still something to be proud of there in that top 10 position. Just outside of the top 10, Brandon Bernhardt there in that number 81 machine. Tried to stay out long during the green flag portions of the race and the pit cycles, but didn't quite work out for him, unfortunately, and he'll be down 3 spots on the evening, back to 11th. Still, again, a pretty solid, just about the mid-pack, almost to the halfway point of the field. Nothing to be ashamed of as well. William Gunn had a pretty solid night himself, from 17th, moving 5 spots up to 12th. In that number 014 machine. Pretty good effort for William Gunn, one of our regulars for Tuesday nights for the series we can no longer broadcast, unfortunately, so I'm glad to see William Gunn back on a broadcast here at Area 51 and Green White Checkered. And Austin Call in that number 64 machine was running up towards the front early on and had that spill there with eventual 2nd place of Ryan Kelly there in the 13, and had to, looks like he did not take his fast repair, so tried to repair as much of that damage as possible, but I'm sure that definitely played a factor in him being back there in 13th, because he had some great pace early on in this race. And we mentioned Carl Henderson there finishing 4th, our buddy on the broadcast running the show on Sunday nights, so nod to you, Carl, and hope to see you, or looking forward to watching you on Sunday nights as you do your thing there, as I do my thing here on Thursdays. So appreciate you, Carl, and pretty solid top 14 effort for you tonight. James Ledford in the Gray Ghost throwback scheme, the number 48 machine. He's going to bring it home P15 after starting 10th place, so falling a couple spots, but still up in the top 15 there. Chris Oliver coming home 16th in that number 14 machine, also for closed circuit racing. And then we've got the Ryan Newman throwback for Nate Warren there in the number 99 in 17th. And Eric Laurie, we saw him off the pace towards the end of the race after getting loose off of turn number 1. He is going to be about 15 seconds off the lead there, back in 18th. After that, we've got a couple of our retirees behind them. Obviously, Vernon Markheim was having an excellent run in deep into the top 10 through most of the night, so unfortunate to see him get caught up in an issue and takes him out of the races. He was put out with the would have been the second to last caution on the evening. And then Jim Brooks mentioned had a bit of a spin, it looked like off camera, took the tow back to pit road, and that was unfortunately it for him for the night. A couple more names on the list as well. Charles Johnson, Taylor Reeves, Brandon Paul, and Joseph DeCiro not taking the green flag after joining the session tonight, so unfortunate to see them not join us, but hopefully they'll be back next week, and we'll have a blast with everyone in the field there, as we'll be moving on to, looks like, Iowa on May 28th. So, May 25th. So that'll be next Thursday. Be a great way to close out this month of May and the first 4 races, the first third of the season, if you will. Iowa's definitely going to be the first short track that we go to. Obviously, it's only 7/8 of a mile, but still going to be a short track for sure. Going to be a little bit, maybe some more beating and banging. Not sure. Obviously, we had a lot of cautions at Michigan and Charlotte. We almost had, I think, pretty much. I can't remember if we did go green or not, but I mean, it was green 95% of the race if it wasn't. So a little bit of a mixed bag. Good long runs here towards the middle for Pocono, but we'll have to wait and see what that short track action brings next week at Iowa, and then I believe after that we'll be back the following Thursday at Chicagoland and then at Talladega. So 3 very different styles of racetracks coming up in the coming weeks. You will not want to miss it, I promise. Iowa, Chicagoland, and Talladega are going to be a blast before we start kicking off the later stages of the season and getting into the playoffs. But don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much. Obviously, we've got a lot of racing left this season. We'll try and have a points update for you before the next race next week at Iowa. But for now, that'll pretty much do it. Third winner of the season in Kevin Freese as Ryan Kelly comes home second. And Brian Wang, the winner of the first race, was the highest finish or highest climber coming home 7th tonight. Lots of good action throughout the field, and appreciate everyone who was able to join the broadcast tonight, watch or race. It's always fun to have everyone in the league be a part of this, and I always appreciate being able to do this, and can't thank you guys enough for letting me or giving me the opportunity to be here and do the things that we do here at Green White Checker TV. So, but for now, for myself, for Daniel Paulus Jr., who had to step away a little early, appreciate every one of you rewatching or watching the broadcast live. I hope you all have a great week. Don't forget, Carl Henderson is going to lead the show on Sunday nights, and we'll be back with that Xfinity Series Super Speedway action on Sundays. So tune back in this week on Sunday, and we'll be back again in 1 week's time here on Thursday nights. I've probably done enough talking, so again, that's me, Boomer Logan. That'll do it for us tonight. Appreciate everyone here at Area 51, and I hope you have an excellent week.